folks, welcome to the Prepared Homestead. This is Travis. Thank you all for stopping by to watch. Well, I guess it was too good to last. The supposed over the weekend, it appeared as the hostilities between Israel and Iran might subside. Although I did mention that the only real news sources that were saying that Iran was saying, we're going to let this one slide. We're not going to retaliate. And, it appeared as it was over, oil prices by the barrel went down. Everything looked like this. Oh, wow, it's over. But I said that the only real sources saying that were Western sources, British media, European media, stuff like that, were saying that through back channels, Iran had said, we're gonna let this one go. Well, it's now pretty much official. There's been several politicians, Iranian politicians, that's saying that they will retaliate. Iran has officially made a statement that they will retaliate against Israel for Israel striking. Let's see. They're going to retaliate against Israel because Israel retaliated against Iran because Iran retaliated against. I've lost total track of this. I really have. But anyways, so they're saying that they're going to do it at a time and place of their choosing with whatever means that they have. And my gut is telling me that it may not be a necessarily, at least right for now, a direct conventional warfare strike like what we saw with their hypersonic missiles. It could be, cyber warfare, could be all of their, little terrorists tentacles that do things. Who knows? But now Israel today has said that their war cabinet or whatever, has approved another strike against Iran because they're saying that the one that they did the other night, that was in retaliation to Iran's hypersonic missiles. Now they're going to retaliate again. So that's two retaliations because Iran, they're terrorists, through Hezbollah and stuff, dropped a drone on Benjamin Netanyahu's home trying to assassinate him. And so now they say they're going to retaliate against that too. So again, I've completely lost track of the retaliations. I'm not trying to be necessarily funny, because I'm not really great at that, but it's like elementary school, playground here. Well, he pushed me. Well, I pushed him because he pushed me. Well, he slapped me. Well, he took my ball. Well, he kicked me. Well, he threw dirt on me. Honestly, as much as some of you may not like to hear this, I just wish they'd just get it over with. Just go at each other. Just do it. Because here's the thing, is it's incrementally pulling us and the rest of the world into something bigger. And I suspect that part of the reason why it's being done this way is because, number one, and again, this is going to hurt some feelings, but it's true, neither Iran or Israel can wage a full-scale war completely on their own. They just can't. Israel is involved in Lebanon, and they've taken some pretty heavy losses. Officially now they're saying like 800 deaths and like 11,000 casualties, injuries, many of their tanks and stuff that they've lost. They're still involved in Gaza. They're making bombing runs and stuff inside of Syria. So they're very involved, and we're supplying. And I'm not saying that Israel doesn't have fierce fighters. That's not it. But we are supplying all the stuff that they need. Not just weapons, but also manpower to run radars and intelligence and all this kind of stuff. And then Iran is the same way. They can't really do anything on their own without Russia and China and stuff helping them or telling them what to do. So I suspect that the reason of this tit for tat and this delays and all this kind of stuff, there's got to be some like backroom orchestration going on. I haven't figured it all out, but I suspect it's more than just what you see on the surface. And so will it continue to escalate? Probably so. Will it end up being some big, widespread, all-out war that could become World War III? I don't know that, but I suspect it will continue to escalate, and because of this, other things could happen. The 10,000, 12,000, whatever the number is, North Korean troops that are in Russia, the word on the street is that they're getting ready to be pushed into the front lines and actually go into warfare against Ukraine. At least that's what Zelensky's saying. And I know that he is not credible whatsoever, but there's other news sources saying the same thing. So that's happening. This past week, BRICS had their big summit. It's kind of like the World Economic Forum, their big Davos meeting. Well, this is the opposite, or not the opposite, but the non-West. Let's put it that way, the non-West meeting. And so at the end of that meeting, they released this paper, and it's kind of the blueprint for a new world, new tomorrow, new world order, which is they're not shy about saying that's the intent. Things are consistently heating up with China and Taiwan. China also made some statements this week, just in the last few days, that, again, reiterating, and each time, and I know they say this all the time, because I hear people see you in the comments, and like, oh, well, so what? China said that before. Each time the rhetoric gets stronger and stronger. So it's slow, but it's a steady buildup, a steady increase, escalation in wordage and intensity and stuff like that, saying that Taiwan is theirs, no one's going to have it. Taiwan is now cutting off certain supplies of microchips and stuff into China. So things are escalating there. And then, of course, we have, we're 8 days away from a big election here that's going to determine the future of this country, apparently. Oh, that's a lot. The markets, they're all over the place. I mean, if you're out there playing the stock market now, it's crazy. Because depending on who you listen to, it could be the time to become a millionaire, or it could be the time to lose your shirt, because it's all over the board, at least opinions of what's going on. And I think that's just because things are so unstable right now. Is it the beginning of a housing collapse? Is it the beginning of a housing boom? Is it the beginning of a bond crash or a bond boom? Is it the beginning of a stock market crash? Are we going to see bank bail-ins? Are we, there's all this stuff going on right now that honestly, most people that I've watched and stuff, they can't even figure out anymore. It's like they've just, thrown their hands up and say, we're now in crazy town. This is for purpose. This is for purpose. This is how evil works. Okay, you have to remember, and I know most of you do, sometimes we just need a reminder. What we're seeing happen on a grand scale, on the big scale of things, is not some nefarious men behind the curtain that decide that they want to rule the world. It's not, currency versus currency. It's not ideology versus ideology, east, west, fascism, communism, capitalism, that's not actually what's going on. What's going on, it's a true battle between good and evil, to put it as simplest terms as I can. It's Satan versus Jesus, versus God, versus Yeshua. And their plan that is happening, that's the thing. It's all part of God's plan. But Satan has his own plan, and he thinks he's gonna take as many people with him as he can. And so we're watching this chaos. Remember, in Scripture it says that God is not the author of chaos. So when we see all of this chaotic stuff happening, it's not that he's necessarily causing it. Excuse me. It's that I think he's allowing it to happen because he knows that it's leading to fulfill his will, his purpose. And so when we see all this chaotic stuff, I believe that in itself is a sign of the time. I think that's Yeshua talked about that. And so we have to realize that when we see all of these things, that, you know, is Israel going to attack Iran? Is Iran going to attack Israel? Is there going to be some big explosion in the Middle East, literally and figuratively, of a big war that goes into World War III? Are we going to be all this stuff? This is the time that we live in, and we have to be ready for that as preppers, as homesteaders, as believers, and not live in fear, because boy, is it getting easy for that. It's getting easier and easier and easier as the walls kind of start closing in, and they may not be closing in right on top of you right now, but in this nation that they are, in many states and communities, the walls are closing in. Bad things are happening. And and in probably 8 or 10 days or so, we're going to see even more bad things happening. Maybe before then, probably after, for certain. And those kinds of things and events, and the rumors of those events, and the threats of those events, and the lies about events, those can be terrifying. They can spread fear. And we have to remember that that's not something that we can allow to take over. We cannot allow fear to control us. Regardless of where you're at in your preparedness walk, you have to understand that you are vastly more prepared than the average person. So you are a step ahead of a lot of people, of most people. You're awake. You see things, what's going on. You may not see it all, you may not understand it all, but you're definitely awake enough that you are seeing things, and you're taking active measures as often as you can and as much as you can afford to prepare yourselves. That's not a guarantee that you're going to survive. I mean, you could have Bill Gates level bunker and supplies and you still may perish. There's no guarantee. But it gives us an advantage. It gives us that edge. And if we stay rooted in faith and belief that we will be protected through troubled times, it doesn't mean we won't go through them. It doesn't mean that we won't go through tribulations and through hard times, but that we will be protected. We have to keep holding true to that and not live in fear, because fear is what the enemy is spreading around right now. And I suspect that that level of fear is going to get worse. Get ready, folks. Powder dry, ready to rock and roll if needed. Most of all, just get your houses in order and prepare yourselves mentally, physically, and spiritually. Thanks for watching. Catch you in the next video.